Hello everyone, and welcome to today's session about the School of Electrical Engineering and Computer Science. During this webinar we will talk about our school, our student life, about our research areas, programs and future career. I will be guiding you. My name is Alexandra Layton, Communications Officer, together with Associate Professor Marcus Sidell, Student Ambassador Dita Angrani, and we will also have a special guest, Professor Gunnar Malm, joining us later. And during this webinar you can ask questions in the Q&A tool to our program directors and coordinators and also student ambassadors. So let's start. Marcus, what do you do at KTH?
I am the Deputy Director of First and Second Cycle of Education at the School of Electrical Engineering and Computer Science here at KTH. Moreover, I am responsible for the integration of sustainable development as well as for internationalization into our education programs. I'm also an associate professor in communications at the Communication Science Department at KTH. So my research interests are in the area of Internet of Things and energy efficient networking. I also teach quite a lot. I'm either responsible for or involved in courses like Network and Communication, Advanced Internet Networking, and Internet Security and Privacy.
Wow, thank you so much. And Dita, you are a second year student here at KTH. Why did you choose KTH?
Hello, I chose KTH because first it's ranking for electrical engineering. It ranks 23 in the world, and this high ranking really shows like the quality of education at KTH. And the courses at KTH are taught in English, so for like an international student like me, it's really useful. And also I think that Sweden is such a very sustainable country in terms of energy system. So studying electric power system in KTH is a huge attraction for me.
Thank you so much for choosing us, and we are very happy to have you here. And I would like to know more about KTH vision, Marcus.
Yes, KTH's vision is research and education for a brighter tomorrow. Now, KTH is one of Europe's leading technical universities. We try to attract highly qualified researchers, teachers and students to aim for supreme quality in education, in research and in outreach. So KTH can be seen as a custodian of the role of technology. We have 4 core values, or pillars as we call them at KTH, and these are sustainability, equality, internationalization and digitalization. And the president of KTH has appointed a vice president for each one of these important areas.
And our school, if we go back to our school, went through a significant change a few years ago, merging 3 schools to 1, making it KTH biggest. Can you tell us why this happened?
Absolutely. Let me first say that the School of ECS conducts research and education within electrical engineering, computer science and information and communication technology. The School of ECS is only a few years old, but the roots have dates all the way back to the beginning of the previous century. So ECS was founded in January 2018 as a merge between the School of Electrical Engineering, the School of Computer Science and Engineering, and Information and Communication Technology. And ECS was founded with the declared intent of addressing and solving the societal challenges of the future.
And here I can also see some successful ranking numbers. Can you tell us a little bit more about those?
Yes, we are very proud of the ranking numbers, and they are important in the academic world. So according to the QS subject ranking, we are currently number 23 in electrical engineering and 54 in computer science. And all staff at KTH and the School of ECS are continuously working really hard to improve these rankings.
And Dita, you also mentioned the ranking numbers for your choosing of KTH within your program. Why is this so important for KTH students?
Sure. Like personally, I think it's really important for students to know which ranking is that program. Especially as an international student, there are so many choices of universities in the world. So the ranking really helps us to get an overview about how is the quality education. And knowing the ranking at the program I'm taking, I'm really happy with that and confident that the experience I get will be really beneficial. So it's really helpful.
Thank you. And talking about all the rankings and programs, can you tell us a little bit about our subjects at our school?
Absolutely, I can, Alexandra. Let us spend some time now on the subjects and the programs here at the School of Electrical Engineering and Computer Science. We have two main fields of study at the second cycle for our master programs. It's electrical engineering and computer science and engineering. And it's really exciting to have these two areas under the same roof, since there is an enormous need for researchers and engineers with knowledge and understanding from both these different fields. So most likely, I believe it will remain so for the foreseeable future. Our research and teaching activities, in electrical engineering and computer science, they also make it possible for us to address societal challenges by creating new knowledge in the borderline between these two different fields. And that is a great opportunity for the School of ESCS. So our education spans over several fields. It's sorted under 4 departments: computer science, electrical engineering, intelligent systems, and human-centered technology. So all the courses, they are managed and developed and taken care of by these departments, while the education programs are managed centrally at the school level.
So how is it like in your program?
Yeah, in the electrical power engineering program, we do have a lot of freedoms to choose our courses. So I feel like students can really thrive depending on our passions and interest. And of course, the combination of the learning will be different for different courses, but mainly we always have lectures, we always have group projects, assignments, lab works, and also exams. And it's really interesting here, the exams could be oral exams, written exams, or even home exams. And I think by working in project groups, it helps us a lot to collaborate, and this kind of soft skills will be really useful to prepare us for the life after graduation.
So it sounds really exciting. So if I'm a student wanting to study at KTH and I'm browsing around, what will I find here, Marcus?
Well, this is probably what you will find when you start exploring the education offering at the School of Electrical Engineering and Computer Science on the KTH web. All the 19 master's programs sorted in alphabetic order. So, what can we do here in this webinar to help you navigate through this offering of ours? Well, first of all, we can try to structure the information for you a little bit. So in this figure we have sorted the different programs closer to the main fields of study that we have under our wings here at KTH and the School of ESCS. So on the left-hand side, you can see the programs that lead to a degree in electrical engineering. And on the right-hand side, you see the programs of ours that lead to a degree in computer science. In the middle, we have 4 different master programs that can lead to a degree in either one of these 2 areas, depending on what specialization track you decide to pursue once you have started the programs.
And Dita, do you recognize yourself in this structure?
Yeah, exactly. So the program that I'm taking is completely in the left-hand side, which will lead us completely in the electrical engineering degree. But inside the program, we of course could take different specializations. So once we take a specialization, we take courses related to that specific topic.
Okay. Marcus, the observant student will notice that there are only 13 programs here, and in the previous slides there were 19 programs. So what happened to the 6 programs?
That is indeed very observant. Well, the remaining 6 master's programs are joint master's programs with a mobility profile. So these are all European university collaboration based on student mobility. Typically they take the first year at one university and then the second year at another partner university. Needless to say, KTH is one of the partners. So most of them are different EIT programs. Now EIT is the European Institute of Innovation and Technology, a large European collaboration integrating business, education and research. So on the left-hand side you see programs within EIT InnoEnergy, and they address sustainable energy as their priority area, so to speak, and it's offered by 4 different European universities together. And there is also a program called ICT Innovation within EIT Digital. They focus on innovation and entrepreneurship, and it's offered by 17 European universities together. There is also an Erasmus Plus program, which is in the field of computer science, and it's offered by 6 European universities together. If you're very observant here, you can see that the program ICT Innovation is listed both as a local KTH program on the previous slide and here as a joint master programs. So this brings us to an interesting opportunity for those of you who are interested in this area. You can apply for this program either through KTH or through a separate admission system in the order of EIT. That will actually increase your chances of getting access to the education that you really are interested in this particular area.
Thank you. So if I'm a student, is there anything I should specifically think about when I'm thinking about the programs and the specializations that I want within my program?
Absolutely. If we take this further, we can see a lot more details about the master programs. Now, in this webinar, we will not be able to cover every single program in detail. However, it is very important for the applicants to understand that there are specialization tracks within each and every one of these master programs, and that is something they should know to study the program description carefully when they get to this part of the selection process, so to speak. So in the following slides here we have listed the specializations just by their names for each program, together with the key SDGs that are relevant to each program. So this shows how we bring sustainable development closer to the master programs here at KTH. Now on this slide here we have the 4 programs in the electrical engineering area. And here is where we, for instance, find electrical power engineering, where Dida is studying. Would you like to say a few words about why you selected this program?
Yeah, sure. So I selected the electric power engineering program because first I have the personal interest on this field, so it's only natural for me to choose this program. And then this program has huge opportunities in the labor market, and also for the specialization track, I'm choosing the power system and market, and then I'm taking courses related to that, and I'm also take some elective courses outside my master program, as long as it is related to the specialization track that I'm choosing.
Okay, thank you very much, Dita. So on the second slide here, we can see the programs and their specializations that are in the borderline between electrical engineering and computer science. And on the final one of these 3 slides, we have the programs in the computer science area. I'm very happy to mention here that as of last year, 2022, we have a brand new master's program in cybersecurity.
That sounds really interesting. And now let's discuss about something that is crucial for our world and society, which is sustainability and digitalization. And sustainability is more than a trendy term here at KTH. As an example, as you can see here, is our Kista Mentor Space, which is an open environment for industry, for our local community and academia to meet. So here we use this mentoring space to work on an idea, a prototype or a project that we might have, and then the knowledge sharing between people is its crucial primary function here. And this is one of many hands-on ways to show the sustainable practice of expertise. So in addition to this, we also have upcoming D-Space, and we have an E-Lab actually here at our campus. So which other ways do we work with equality, digitalization and sustainability, Marcus, at our school?
Well, as you say, Alexandra, digitalization and sustainable development are 2 of the pillars upon which KTH rests. At the School of ESCS, we continuously work with integration of sustainable development as well as equality into the education offering and into the education programs. So our goal here is to have a broad and deep offering of courses with learning objectives, learning activities and assessment related to these things. And such learning activities could, for instance, be practical work in a mentor space.
And also, during the pandemic, we had to switch to teaching online. What did we keep and learn from those years?
Yeah, this is interesting. Sustainability and digitalization, they often go hand in hand. For instance, our teachers, they basically have been living and breathing digitalization during the pandemic, when we were forced to quickly switch over to digital online learning activities and assessment when Sweden decided to basically close down all the university campuses. So the staff at KTH, they made huge efforts to maintain high quality education under the COVID-19 restrictions. So now we're back to campus again since more or less a year back. But during this close down of the campuses, we learned so much about digitized learning activities and assessment. So we are not really back to the same situation that we were in before the pandemic broke out. Now we're trying to make good use of what we have learned through this period when it comes to digital and online learning. And we bring this into the future education of ours. So whenever this can lead to increased quality and experience. So we are coming back to the future.
Thank you. And Dita, how did this affect your studies?
Yeah, so in my first year, many classes were online, and even the exams were online. But then during the pandemic, we still can't feel safe as well as like attending the lectures because everything was online. But also it gives us the privilege to like rewatch the videos again whenever we want to study or like check the materials again. And I don't think this is possible if we never did the online learning at all. So it gives like a lot of benefits. And currently at the moment the classes are offline, but then we still have recordings from previous years, so then we can check that before the class started and use that whenever we need to study again. So it gives like benefits.
Yes, it's a free environment.
Exactly.
Of studying. So how would you say that you practice this sustainable development within your program?
Yeah, so in our program we even have a dedicated course called the Sustainable Electric Power Engineer, and in that course we are actively talking about like our roles inside the societies as a electric power engineers, and then how the sustainability is always be our like main core value. Because in every single course that I take, the professor always says about sustainability, that we are as electric power engineers we have to be as efficient as possible whenever we want to generate or convert energy. So sustainability is like the core value of the program.
Thank you so much, Dita. And with around 50 research teams working within the environment and sustainable development, KTH Operation acts as a driving force within research for a sustainable world. So Marcus, please tell us more about the School of Electrical Engineering and Computer Science research and how it relates to sustainable development.
Absolutely. Our education and the master's programs, they are closely related to the research that we do, giving students access to new technology, to new knowledge and to new research methods. So the EECS research, it spans over several different fields. It's a wide range of subjects, so to speak. And the research in electrical engineering and computer science, it often contributes to the sustainable development through either different innovations or applications. And some examples of areas where internationally prominent research is conducted here at the EECS are energy systems, systems engineering, electronics, communication systems and computer science, and also software development and human-centered technology. So we are of course not really able to cover all the EECS research here today, but a couple of specific research examples are the following here that actually are depicted in the slide in one way or the other. For instance, you can see the Fur Hat, which is a social robot making unbiased recruitments. There is also a new synthetic plastic material for cancer treatment directly into the cancer cell. There is development of AI research within WASP, Wallenberg AI Autonomous Systems and Software Program at KTH. Research about 5G networks and their security, components heading for Mercury to investigate the magnetosphere up there or away there. And there are also robots being able to follow the movements and commands of a human in real time. And you can also see a picture of Smart Grid Gotland, the world's smartest electricity network.
So all these research areas must demand engage in research environments. Could you mention some of them?
Yes, they do, and the school has access to many excellent research environments. Many of them are really one of a kind. For example, we have environments like the Smart Mobility Lab, the X-Trap Fusion Reactor, the Visualization Studio, the Robotics Lab. There's a PDC Center for High Performance Computing and an Electrum Laboratory for Semiconductors and Photonic Research.
And Dita, have you had the opportunity to visit any of these environments?
Not labs, but the labs that are in our program. I've been into labs in Technical Union 33, mainly because our courses need that. It's about electronics and then electrical machines, and we often use the computer lab. And there is this remote lab access for the students where we can access the KTH computer online from our computer, and it's really helpful because when we run a simulation, for example, it's so heavy, and having this kind of remote access is really useful for us.
Thank you. So, and we also have two unique key infrastructures here at KTH, and one of them is our supercomputer that we can see here on the left-hand side. Can you tell us more about the supercomputer, Marcus?
Absolutely. I will just mention that the other one is the Electrum Laboratory for Semiconductors and Photonics. The supercomputer is one of the fastest academic supercomputing systems in Scandinavia. So the number of floating point operation that this machine can perform per second is truly impressive. 2.28 petaflops, and 1 petaflop is 10 to the power of 15 floating point operations per second. The supercomputer is named Dardel after the famous Swedish painter Nils Dardel. So if you look closely into the figure here on the upper left-hand side, you can see pictures of some of his very famous paintings.
Yeah, this is not what I had in mind when I think about a supercomputer. It's absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much, Marcus. And now I would like to introduce you to our special guest. Professor Gunnar Malm is here to talk about his journey to KTH and his research. Welcome, Gunnar.
Thank you, Alexandra.
Please introduce yourself and tell us about your journey to KTH.
So very short about myself. I have a math and physics background, and I actually studied at Uppsala University for my bachelor and master. And at Uppsala I found time for many interesting things, also studies in German, Icelandic, a bit of acting, singing. But to finish up my master level thesis, I went outside academia for a while to the company ABB in Västerås and worked on nuclear safety modeling. Then I went into my favorite area, semiconductors, and looked around for a PhD position and found one at the Kista campus of KTH in very close collaboration with Ericsson, which is also located in Kista. So my area, semiconductors, has been in quite a lot of focus since the start of the pandemic. We heard about the semiconductor shortage or lack of semiconductors. And I have had many opportunities to educate the general public about my field. And just before summer, I talked at the electronics fair about semiconductor for dummies, and I think it was highly appreciated.
So what are you doing at KTH today?
Right now, I'm vice head of the division for electronics and embedded systems. And our group or lab has about 10 professors and 40-50 students, working in everything from semiconductor materials to software synthesis for reliable embedded systems, and of course semiconductor fabrication.
And as you mentioned, everyone is talking about semiconductors right now and the lack of them, of course. And you actually brought a semiconductor with you. Tell me more.
Yes, I did. I brought a semiconductor wafer. Not the one that you're used to see, a large one in silicon that would be used in consumer products. This is in fact a research sample in silicon carbide. So our group has a world record in integrated circuits for very high temperatures. And we worked on a project building in digital circuits, analog and RF communication blocks, and even digital sensors for a target mission to the planet Venus. And Venus has a super tough atmosphere, almost 500 degrees, and there's a lot of toxic gases and other stuff. And silicon carbide can handle this. In this type of project, we assembled competence from all over ECS. So the semiconductor people, the microsystems and sensor people, power electronics people, of course, and in fact, some from outside. And it was a flagship project and got a lot of funding from a private foundation.
So research on Venus, that sounds really interesting, but I don't want to ask all the questions. Dita, do you have any question for Gunnar?
Yeah, of course, Gunnar. So what kind of courses we have to take to either work or do research in your field?
So first of all, graduates in electronic system design, if we use this name for the topic, are very attractive on the job market. They would go to major companies like Ericsson or Huawei, or like the car industry, aviation industry. The kind of courses that we offer are like embedded hardware design for different types of circuits, ASIC, FPGAs, also embedded software, and even courses like artificial intelligence. We have embedded intelligence. On the other hand, if you want to go into research like me, then talk to a professor early on and find a suitable master level thesis, and then basically take it from there.
And here comes one of my favorite slides, and that's a career after KTH. And as you know, our students are extremely attractive at the labor market. We actually have one of our campuses in what's called Europe's Silicon Valley, with over 1,000 companies within the ICT area. And as I mentioned before, our student career starts when they start at KTH. 50% get a job before graduation, and 20% choose to study a PhD. And also in this picture, you can see one of our most famous KTH alum, Gustav Söderström, who is Chief R&D Officer Spotify, and Paulina Modlita, Consultant and Strategist in Digital Communications. And I would like to ask you, Gunnar, was it clear for you to choose a career within the academia?
I'm curious by nature, so the obvious answer would be yes. But in reality, I spent maybe half a year just thinking about it, just to make up my mind. And I applied for exciting positions in industry, but finally I said, let's do at least a PhD, and I did. And after this stage, the academic path is different for everyone, so I didn't have clear plans, but somehow 25 years later I'm here as a professor and really enjoying teaching, research, and also these outreach events.
And Marcus, was it clear for you to choose a career within the academia?
Well, it was not so much a well-laid plan for me either. Even though I have been at KTH for a very long time, I also have some experience from outside the walls here. As a PhD student at KTH, I was involved in a spin-off of a startup company in the late 90s. So we started and built this company during a couple of years with the international venture capital to commercialize network research results of ours. So that was a very exciting time. But everything has an end thereafter. I went back to KTH to finish off my PhD studies, and then later I became an associate professor here.
Thank you. And as I mentioned before, KTH had very close ties to the industry. And every year we have a degree project fair, which 70 research groups and companies attend. And actually 20% of our students get their first job through their degree projects. Dita, do you have any exciting degree project
Yes.
in mind?
Yeah, so actually I went to the degree project fair in Sista a couple of weeks ago, and I saw so many interesting degree projects. I didn't apply though because I'm working part-time in a Swedish battery company, so they offer me a thesis project already there. So the plan is that I'm going to research about reliability assessment of the product that we're developing. It is a mobile battery system, and then to see how is the reliability of that complete system with different AC and DC components inside, and what kind of maintenance strategy we can suggest to increase the reliability of that. But this topic is not yet final. I still have to do more literature reviews and also discuss more with these professors and supervisor.
So you're both working and studying.
Exactly.
How do you keep a good balance between those two?
Yeah, I find it that working part-time, especially in a field that is matches with my study, is really rewarding, because then I can study at school and then I can see what's going on with the theory in the industrial field. So it's a good balance, and of course it needs extra work and also efforts to balance our time, but with a proper time planning and also
discipline.
Exactly, and also discipline. I think it's really useful and it's really vibrant. It's such a good opportunity.
And actually now we come to your experience of studying here at KTH and in Sweden. So please tell us about your student life.
Yeah, so my life as a student at KTH is really vibrant. First because I'm studying now in a country with a very different cultural backgrounds and also very different climate. Where I come from a tropical country, so it's really different with all the winter and everything. It's really interesting, and also I'm studying in this world-class university where we supposed to perform a lot, and it requires rather a lot of hard work. But when we are studying hard, then it's really rewarding. I also meet a lot of Swedish and also international friends, where then I hang out with them and also become friends. We're studying together, have fun together, and have a lot of trips. in surrounding areas in Sweden. It's really fun. And also by working part-time in a company, and this company is really multinationals, I have met a lot of professionals like engineers and different experts, and I learned a lot from them. So my study life has been really colorful, I would say.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that.
Yeah.
And then remember then, in addition to Dita, we do have student ambassador for almost all of our programs. And you will find them at KTH Web, so feel free to contact them. And as I said in the beginning of this webinar, our student ambassadors are currently managing our chat, so please ask them any questions that you want. Dita, what are some of the most common questions that you receive from prospective students?
Yeah, so this far, the most common questions that I receive are questions regarding the how to apply the entry requirements, and then how big is the chance for us to get accepted, so something like that, which are actually available in the course program website. But of course, maybe it's not that easy to find it, so I'm happy to share my experience to them, and by asking someone that has been going through that process, I think that can give them different insights. So I'm happy to share that kind of process.
Yeah, we will talk a bit about the process and how to apply. And first, choose your program of interest, and you find the information on our KTH website and the platform there, which opens for applications in mid-October every year. And then also submit your application before the 16th of January. And you can also apply for KTH scholarships and SI scholarships. And this has also need to be done before the 16th of January. Don't forget to submit all your documents before the 1st of February. And that also has to do with the application fee, so please don't forget these dates. And the scholarships are for SI is between the 10th to the 28th of February. And then you will receive your selection results the 30th of March, which I believe will be a positive one. So please, Dita, how do you experience this application process? Could you tell me about your experiences?
Yeah, sure. So based on my experience, the application process is really easy. It's one of the easiest I have applied, and then it's really straightforward. So we apply through this university admission website, and this is the only website being used in Sweden for all the universities. So the entire process is digital, so you can do it from wherever you are in the world, and all the proper deadlines and also adequate time are given. So I would suggest you to really follow the deadlines and prepare it in advance. So don't do it really close to the deadlines, and don't miss any documents or any information.
Yeah, so I think that we need to really emphasize and to be sure to check the admission, the applications periods, the admission requirements for your preferred programs and so on. So don't miss those dates, please. Unfortunately, we are coming to an end of this webinar about the School of Electrical Engineering and Computer Science. But before we go, I would let you know that the chat is open for another 20 minutes. And our student ambassadors and staff are there to answer your questions as well. And we will have a few webinars coming. Actually, Dita, you and I will meet again on the 5th of December, and we will have a webinar about electrical power engineering program, correct? So we will also host two separate events where you can chat with our students and our staff at the admission office closer to the application deadline. So that's good to know. You can find, of course, all of this information at KTH website, kth.se/meet. So thank you, Dita, thank you, Marcus, and thank you, Gunnar, for joining us today. Marcus, would you like to say a few words?
Absolutely. I would like to thank you so much for your attention. It's been a pleasure having you here at the ECS webinar. I hope that you now feel a little bit more familiar with our school, with our master's programs, research and student life here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.